The dawn of civilization. Primitive. Dangerous. Exciting. The handwriting is on the wall. If the human race is ever going to amount to anything, it needs
the most civilized caveman I have ever seen.
Look who's come out of his cave.
Hello everyone, this is James from Cave Dweller Music. Welcome to the Cave Dweller podcast with a special guest for you today. This is Jon Rhodes. He is joining me and my co-host Brendan from the band Swamp Coffin, Rotherham, UK. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Just for anyone who doesn't know your band or your music, do you want to tell us a little bit what you play, what kind of music, and what your role in the band is?
Yeah, so we play, you'd probably call it sludgecore these days. Okay. If you're into Iron Monkey, Crowbar, Primitive Man, that sort of shit, but we've got breakdowns and chuggy bits. I do guitar and vocals. We formed in 2016. Going for nearly 10 years now. Done an EP, couple of albums. It's going pretty well. I think we're doing all right.
That's awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah, that's definitely some awesome stuff you guys do.
Yeah, very heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we're leaning. We've always had like sort of hardcore death metal influences, and I'm just trying to push those in, like just because I do most of the writing, but all the writing, I try and sneak little references into like other bands that I like to, I had to push what we're doing. I don't want to just keep rewriting the same shit over and over again. It just seems that by doing that, it just keeps getting heavier.
Yeah. You guys had awesome start, right? It's still amazing. Everything you guys have done is, I feel like, been really stellar as far as the style of sludge and being super heavy. And then I noticed after the first couple albums you guys did, you got into more of the chuggy bits and the hardcore breakdowns and whatnot. That's definitely sweet.
Yeah, because the thing is, for me, I'm more... See, I like Crowbar. I like a bit of Doom, but I'm way more into the... to be fair, it's your neck of the woods. It's Connecticut hardcore. 100 Demons and Hatebreed is literally what I grew up on. And
yep, me too. Dude.
Terror and all that sort of shit. And then Stamping Ground in this country. And then got into Napalm Death and bands like Mistress, which is a bit grindier. So it's just, I'm just got a musically weird upbringing, but I'm slowly sneaking the chugs in, and it sort of works now. There's a bit of context, and people are kind of now expecting that we're going to do chuggy stuff.
Yeah,
which is fine. I'll keep writing that shit. That's fine by me.
It's great. I noticed when the first track off of your new album, Drowning Glory, it had the guitar the screaming, and I was like, "Well, that's new," and it felt so well,
Yeah, so there's a bit of a running joke. My wife thinks pinch harmonics are hilarious, so I'm literally putting pinch harmonics into riffs just to make my wife laugh. Awesome. And then it just turned into that fucking riff, which is genuinely I think it's one of my favourite riffs that I've ever done for this band. But yeah, there's always a little bit in my head. It's like, would this make my missus smile? And then that turned into just that big. Let's just bend that note for as long as possible.
It's perfect. It works so well, you hear it a couple times in some the newer beat down hardcore and all that, some of the bands that might cross over into deathcore or something, but it just fits your guys' style really well, and it was it was new, you know what I mean? But it was wow, this isn't sounding super ridiculous and weird, it was it's very inviting.
That's cool. It's we've been somebody called us beat down sludge, because it's all our riffs are at breakdown. It's just literally breakdown BPM. But because there's all the fuzz and stuff, we still get lumped in with Doom a little bit, because I'm not using Mesa Boogies or PV5150s. I'm using basically a Big Muff to do that really sort of fuzzy sort of stoner doom guitar tone, but doing chugs. And I think that sort of throws people because they're expecting us to be one type of band, but it's like, oh no, actually, it's just you can mosh to it.
It's great. It's like you still have like the doom and like the sludge like length of songs. Like you're not writing 3-minute bangers. You guys are making some like great musicianship going there. But I love it, man.
Just to give you context as well, John, Brendan, this is like Brendan's complete sweet spot. We call him the Sludge Daddy, and then he loves his hardcore, so you kind of giving him exactly what he wants.
Yeah, the All Like War shirt is a giveaway.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can't be from Connecticut and not like those sorts of bands. Do you know what I mean? It's like.
Oh man, I grew up in New Hampshire, so we were always like going down to Connecticut or going to Vermont, or like once in a while New York, and just catching bands, man, and it was awesome. And growing up during that time, as like a young teenager, catching like these bands, All Out War, playing like their first couple albums, like late '90s, early 2000s, and it was I feel like it was an epic time to be part of for music. I
mean, that whole East Coast scene, Boston, New York, Connecticut, is, I mean, to me, so when I first started getting into metal, it was Korn. It was Metallica first, Nirvana, Korn, and then Slayer. And then I heard, I used to do street teaming, and I got Perseverance, Hatebreed's album, as part of a street team thing. They were like, listen to this, I've got a pre-release copy. And I was like, shit, this sounds like just really meaty, slow Slayer. It sounds like slow. I'm like, why would I not like this? So all I'm basically doing is taking Hatebreed riffs and we'll fucking slow them down even further and put loads of fuzz on them. And
perfect.
Why not?
I think it's awesome.
I'd say your intro to metal is pretty, like, you kind of do it the way that most people would. That's kind of the natural progression.
Yeah.
I think, that was like that was always the way of doing it, wasn't it? It was Nirvana, Metallica, and then getting into new metal was just always. And then you'd branch off, and then you'd get into Carcass and Napalm Death and At the Gates and all that sort of shit, and Cannibal Corpse, and that's literally what I did. And then I've gone to the point where I'm listening to fast death metal all the time, and a friend of mine gave me a copy of Broken Glass by Crowbar, and it was like a light had been switched on. I'm like, where has this been? Because it's everything that I like.
Yep.
But it's slower, and it's emotional, and it's miserable, but like you say, it feels like everybody sort of goes down that journey, and then you'll fork off, and you'll go down your own path, and then you might get into might get more into black metal or whatever, but I like a bit of everything, and it starts to bleed into when I'm writing, because if I'm listening to, I don't know, shitloads of death metal, I will start putting triplet riffs into what we're doing. Our drummer hates doing blast beats, so I have to sort of have to think. It's like, he won't do that.
I kind of messed up that order thing because I missed thrash. I came back to thrash later, but I went from the same like the new metal and metalcore stuff, and I jumped straight to death metal, and then came back to thrash. But the natural progression goes thrash, then death metal. For most people.
Yeah, thrash, death metal, black metal, grindcore.
Grindcore is like some people never get into grindcore.
Everybody needs to get into grindcore.
It's one of those things that grew on me. I was like, what? If they could just do what they did for like 2 more minutes, this would be one of the best things ever, Like some of the rootiest goddamn shit I've heard. And it's only like a 2-minute long song, and I'm like, you guys deserve more. You deserve, like, please.
But then you have to earn it. They give you that treat on the album where there's that 1 3-minute track, and like, you have to earn that track.
I know.
Listen to Pig Destroyer.
Yes,
Pig Destroyer, who will do a 15-minute sludge song because they fucking feel like it.
Right. And that's what's really cool about, like, you guys are like being a tight-knit band and doing stuff for so long, and it's like you don't have to be the same thing every time, right? Hence your change, right? Like let's do something else. Like, let's do something different. You know,
I mean,
but keep it the same. Like, that's awesome.
It's still, as long as it still sounds like the same band. And I think if you've got the same three dudes, you know, the lyrics are obviously going to be coming from a similar place because I'm writing them. I'm writing the riff, so it sounds like me playing guitar. Dave, who does drums, I mean, to be fair, he's a punk kid at heart. Mm-hmm. He likes punk. He likes old pop punk. He likes hip hop. He's got a really particular way of playing. He's not into doom metal at all. He's he likes pretty mainstream stuff. He likes Machine Head and Slipknot and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it works. And then you can throw in little flavours. You can throw in death metal riffs. You can throw in little bits. There's fucking discords on. I mean, there's a song on the new album called "This Is Always Gonna End in War," where I was like, what if I play an Every Time I Die sort of groove, and it works? It's, do you know what I mean? I mean, you can steal bits from other genres, and it can work. You know, if you put it in the right context.
Yeah, 100%.
So basically, we'll be doing a full-on fucking grindcore album in 2 albums' time, knowing us.
That's awesome. He's like, this guy's got fast, man.
Yeah, we can't go. The thing is, the reason we play as slow as we do is, I mean, we're all in our 40s. All our fans are in their 40s, or most of our fans are in their 40s. They don't want to be running around and circle pitting for 40 minutes straight. They want to sound and have a little bit of a marsh and headbang.
Like, let's build this up. Let's release the power.
That's the one. Do a little bit of windmilling. I mean, we played a hardcore show where kids started stage diving. I'm like, this is unprecedented. What we play at the tempo that we play, I'm like, people are fucking stage diving.
Like,
all right,
here we go.
It's like that one video. Have you seen the video of the guy that stage dives at a Sun gig?
No.
You know the drone band Sun. This one guy just dives off the fucking stage. It's brilliant.
Just straight reverb.
Yeah, literally just dive into frequencies.
That's amazing.
Out of curiosity, have you heard that that supergroup that formed from Every Time I Die and Dillinger called Better Lovers?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Honest answer, it's good, but it's not as good as Dillinger, and it's not as good as Every Time I Die.
I understand that,
and I don't think it ever could.
But other band that came from that aftermath, Many Eyes.
Many Eyes?
No, I've not heard of them.
Many Eyes. That's Keith Buckley's band from Every Time I Die.
Right.
And it's pretty fucking good, man. It's like, what's the name of the album? Hang on.
The one thing I will say while he figures that out is that I saw Better Lovers live, and like you said, it's not quite as good as either, but the energy between the band and what's his name from Dillinger, the vocalist, working on it.
Yeah. Is it Greg Kiyata?
Kiyata, yes. Their combined energy on stage is pretty sweet, though, I have to say.
See, I've seen both. I've seen Every Time I Die and I've seen Dillinger a bunch of times.
I have too.
Yeah, energy is something that those bands were not lacking.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, give another couple of albums.
It's exactly like a one EP, so.
Yeah, well, they did 2, right?
Who did? Better Lovers?
The Many Eyes album's called The Light Age.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Definitely check it out. I don't know. I have a friend who's a major Every Time I Die fan, and when I showed him that album, he was just like, I don't know, it might be better than Better Lovers. Might be.
Was that friend Matt?
That's an opinion, no. But I think that it's an album worth listening to. Good.
Okay.
I'll give it a go.
So on that topic, John, what have you been listening to lately? Anything stood out to you?
I've become a little bit obsessed with Chat Pile.
Yeah.
Nice. Great band.
Right, I didn't get it at all. I just didn't get it. And then there's a song on the new album called "The Milk of Human Kindness" that made me just go, "Oh, all right, this is it." And because guess what? It's slow and it's bleak, and it just all made sense. Because then I'm listening to it, going, I can hear corn riffs. There's a bit of stuff that I like, and it just slotted into place. But it took a while and then I just had to persevere with it. But yeah, no, that's on my current list. There's a weird hardcore band called, I say weird because they've got all sorts of stuff going on, but pretty much hardcore, called Giver. We're from Germany.
Huh.
What else am I into at the moment? I'm listening to Fuming Mouth pretty much constantly.
Oh yeah,
Great band.
We played with them in London a couple of, like, it was the first tour they did over here, and yeah, they were amazing. They were just
yeah.
But again, a band that's got multiple influences going on. They've got that old school death metal thing, but they've definitely got sludge and hardcore.
Yeah,
For sure. That sound's kind of become more popular lately. That they're bringing the hardcore energy and tone into the death metal kind of musicianship, and I'm all for it. I love that sound.
Oh, it's like what Nails do. Stick an HM2
exactly.
in, and yeah, it's that sort of.
Even more so with their newest album. Like,
That album ruled, by the way. I love that
I'm
new
gonna
album.
go see them for my birthday. It's coming up.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, they're playing with Obituary.
The thing with Chat Pile I find interesting is a lot of people have been confused by it because they didn't have any experience with noise rock. So they've come from like the hardcore death metal scene, and they're like, what is this? This is so weird. But then people who listen to noise rock for years are like, yeah, this is just Jesus Lizard meets like hardcore and death metal. There's some corn thrown in there. It's great.
Yeah. But I like Melvins, and then if you go back to sort of Stoner Witch, you're like, oh, this is completely different to whatever it might be. I mean, Stag is my favourite Melvins album. There's a fucking trumpet solo on that's just bizarre. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense that I would like Chat Pile, but like I say, it took time. It was just one of those bands where it's like, yeah, I'm really working for this, but yeah, they're on pretty much daily. When I'm working, I just stick that on in the background. It says.
I love seeing how much they've blown up. It's kind of awesome to see the success that they've achieved.
Yeah. They like when they came onto my radar, it was in 22 when God's Country came out, right? And I was like, what is
Great album.
this? Holy shit, it was really good. And it was like, I don't know, it's original, it's great, you know? And people, I feel like it's hard to categorize maybe sometimes, but then like, because like you hear noise rock and you're like, but there's not very much rock and roll going on in there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Or at least
The other thing is, like, we probably won't fully appreciate Chat Pile to some extent because a lot of the influence I've heard from interviews and stuff is about how bleak it is living in the Midwest. So I think people from the Midwest like appreciate it even more than we could as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fucking bleak where I live, so that might
There you go.
it's finally connected. It's a shithole where I live.
Whereabouts is whereabouts in the country is where you're located?
So we are in the county of Yorkshire, which is.
Okay.
I mean, I'm biased, but it's the best part of the country. Which is the thing is, Yorkshire's stunning. It's gorgeous countryside, mountains, scenery, moorland, all sorts of stuff. You've got towns like Leeds, Sheffield, they're like big industrial towns. We're an hour and a bit away from Manchester. We're a couple of hours away from London, so we're pretty central. And then there's this one shithole town called Rotherham, which is like the fucking sweaty armpit of Yorkshire. And yeah, that's typically where I'm from. I mean, I'm just on the outskirts. I'm just far enough away. But yeah, the centre's fucking horrible. It's just, yeah. It's just one of those towns that's just slowly but surely been dying for probably 20, 30 years, sadly.
Is that like one of those things where like it needs to have like some infrastructure, like let's put in some things for people to do, or is it just falling apart? Like
it's one of those places where Rotherham's sort of 15, 20 minutes away from Sheffield. So if anybody wants to go shopping, they go to Sheffield. There's no tram. I mean, there's trams and trains, and everybody goes to Sheffield. There's a big shopping centre, and then that's basically slowly but surely killed the town. And all we have now are pound shops, so like what you guys have as dollar stores, I suppose. Pawn shops, and then barbers. That's literally it. There's not a lot, and it's a shame because it's quite a historic town. It's quite it's not a bad looking place. It's just
okay. Just nothing to do. No central location to draw people in and keep them there.
Pretty much, yeah. When the shopping left, the whole town died. I mean, it's a steel making town. It is a coal town. Okay. And when those industries died, the town sort of followed it, sadly. But it's been good for us because I can use it to write loads of horrible songs about.
Kind of sounds like what happened to Detroit with like the car manufacturing industry just leaving. And
very much so.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, talking local stuff,
of people ready to go and do stuff, right, and keep contributing to the town. But then you take away where they're going to be working or like how much is going on around here and move their jobs to other places. They're going to either go or stay, and most people go with where they're working, right?
Right. I mean, the funny thing is, though, it does mean that we've got a really thriving metal scene.
Yeah,
there is some serious, but I mean, Bring Me the Horizon. They say they're a Sheffield band. They're all from Rotherham. They're all Rotherham boys. Those guys started out. There was literally one venue when I was like 16 in Rotherham. There was one venue, and all the bands started there. So Bring Me the Horizon started there. You'd get touring bands coming through, and literally that was the hub. And so that created a shitload of bands, and then in the last couple of years, another venue's opened up, and then same thing. There's always been a real sort of desire for metal in this town, and it's always just produced really, really filthy sludge bands, death metal bands. There's a bunch of good stuff that's come out of here.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know, it might be down to the environment, I don't know. But yeah, it's always been a solid metal scene around here.
Cool. Brendan, that kind of leads on to your favourite part of the podcast, otherwise the local questions. You want to ask some of those bad boys?
Yeah, sure. So, when you guys are getting together to practice, do whatever you guys are doing as a band, do you guys like go places to eat? Do you guys grab takeout? What do you guys? What's the routine there?
I mean, we literally just see. I mean, as a band, we generally just seen each other once a week. I mean, Dave, our drummer, has been probably my best friend since I was 16. So that's 25, 26 years. So I see him often. He was here last night with his missus and his kids. I saw him last week. So we hang out quite a lot. Martin, our bass player, lives in a place called Barnsley, which is like 45 minutes away from us. So he's a little bit more difficult to hang out. But yeah, we literally see each other on a Thursday. We practice. We probably spend more time drinking and doing Simpsons quotes than we do playing music. It descends into just let's just have a catch up. But yeah, it's only once a week, but it's good. I mean, when we do go out for food, it's generally because we're playing a show. We got we played with I Hate God recently. Oh, it wasn't the I Hate God show. We played a show in Sheffield where we headlined, and we realised we had 3 hours to kill, so we went and just had Turkish kebabs and just
nice.
Had some drinks, caught up. It's all good.
I have to say how much I miss Turkish kebabs because they don't really do them on the west coast of the US. Not the same way as they do in other countries. Because I worked in a kebab shop in high school in Australia, and I miss that stuff.
There's one street in Sheffield where there's literally 5 proper Turkish restaurants where you can go and sit down, and it's like a tough choice between all 5 because they're all great.
Oh man, I miss that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. As I say, Connecticut has got some great ethnic foods. There's an Albanian restaurant I've been trying to go to. I haven't been there yet, but there's everything on the menu just looks so good. It's just full of different meats and big size, like family style. Like it looks so good, man.
I mean, when we played London, we played London with Fume in Mouth. We finished. We stayed for the end of it was a big, like, weekend long festival. And then the biggest problem we had was we literally spent an hour and a half deciding where to eat. It was like, oh, well, we could probably get a good pizza. Oh, actually, it could be this. And then we were basically stood outside a hotel arguing at 2 a.m. like, where the fuck are we going to go eat? And you just find a kebab shop. It always ends up in a kebab shop.
Nice. Yeah, you know, they do such a good job. Like, there's a couple spots. Like, there's a Lebanese restaurant down the way here that does a really good job. And they have, like, you know, different kebabs on there and all that. Like, really good stuff, man. It's nice to get.
It's burnt meat. You cannot go wrong with burnt meat.
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good.
Brendan, you got any others?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, so what your favorite spot to go, like, play music at? Like, your favorite venue in your area?
It was a place called the Bridge Inn. And it sadly shut a lot. It's happening a lot. A lot of venues are closing in this country. I don't know what it's like for you guys, but small grassroots venues are closing. And this was literally the sequel building to the building where we all grew up sort of playing music. It was a venue that was actively encouraging up and coming bands to play, but also bringing in bands like, I don't know if you've heard of Slamatics, but bringing in decent touring bands, getting those guys to play, doing big old days. It had got a fucking old electric chair, it had got coffins, it had got a big shark's head on the wall. I mean, it got two venues. It had got an upstairs room and a downstairs room. It was ace. Awesome. Good drinking, good music, good friends. I mean, yeah, it's going to be sadly missed, that place, because there's nowhere else that's offering that sort of environment, at least around here, without travelling to places like, there's a Star and Garter at Manchester, which is an amazing venue. There's a New Cross Inn in London. I mean, there's a bunch of really cool 150, 200 cap venues in this country that are just awesome.
Nice.
On your point, though, we lost quite a few during COVID as well. Everywhere lost good venues during COVID, unfortunately. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's. I think COVID was the start of it, because suddenly people stopped buying tickets in advance to stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, oh, I'll turn up on the day. And those sort of advanced ticket sales killed a lot of gigs. It stopped a lot of promoters wanting to put shows on. If promoters aren't putting shows on, people aren't going to the venues, the venue dies. And then all that happens is these big sort of O2 Academy, you sort of these chain venues are the ones that start putting shows on. And then all you can then see are gigs that are 35, 40 quid to get in.
Right, through Ticketmaster every time as well.
Exactly, it's always Ticketmaster. I mean, I've just paid 100 fucking quid to go. I'm going to see Slayer in July. And it was like 100 and something quid. And it's like, brilliant, ridiculous. I'm going to go and see Slayer. I'm going to see Slayer at a castle. What the fuck? What's it come to? Or fucking 600 to see Black Sabbath, and it's like...
Oh, I saw that. That was insane, the price for that.
Yeah.
I still didn't get tickets, but it's that sort of thing that is people won't go and see these sort of small £10 a ticket shows because they're probably saving up to spend fucking £200 to see Ghost or whatever it's going to cost.
Money well spent.
This is it, and you're so probably terrified of, oh well, if such and such comes to town, it's going to be 50 quid. I mean, Poison the Well are touring here, that's 25, that's a bargain. 18 Visions are coming. I'm really tempted to go and see 18 Visions.
That'd be fun.
But those smaller venues, these sort of 100 capacity venues, have all been hit really, really hard. And I honestly think that it's a root cause is just bigger promoters are getting all the good stuff. There's no sort of cheap shows.
Yeah. We're really lucky. We're lucky that I'm in San Diego, by the way, in California, and we've got a place called Brick by Brick, which is like our local metal hub, basically, and we've been super lucky. We've still been getting all the cheap shows, and that's never stopped even during COVID. Like I saw, for example, there was Primitive Man, giant fertilizer for like $11, like stuff like that, which is amazing.
Like a
See,
dollar show when it came by our place, in Massachusetts.
I mean, you guys always get good tours anyway. We get, you always seem to get really, really good supports. Like that Poison Well tour has got brilliant supports, and then they've not even announced who it's going to be over here. So it's, we always get the shit end of the stick, unfortunately. But like I said, there are still, there are promoters that are putting on, like prolifically putting on amazing shows. But for every like one of those, there's going to be one that's starting up, and then it's not viable because guess what? It's expensive to put bands on, and if no fuckers turning up because people are scared to buy tickets in advance, which I fully appreciate, if people aren't buying tickets in advance, guess what? You're not going to have these gigs anymore because the shows aren't going to exist.
That's the cost.
Especially if it's an international touring act, like they're not going to take a chance where they don't sell tickets if they're touring from another country or something.
No, this is it. I mean, we deliberately we did a headline tour in September when Drowning Glory came out. We just did I think it's 4 or 5 nights, just a short tour, play some songs off the album, and 4 of those shows were free entry. It's like let's get people in, and there are a bunch of really cool promoters that do free entry gigs in this country, which is brilliant because guess what? People are going to come along, and then they buy shirts, they buy merch. That's what keeps bands alive.
Question for you: I imagine Brexit really hurt touring from Europe and to Europe from the UK?
I mean, it's not so bad for us because we have a drummer that will not travel to Europe to play shows.
Okay.
I'd love to, but he won't. But the problem with Brexit is nobody really knows how it works for bands. So there's meant to be something called a carnet in place where you have to declare all the stuff that you're taking over with you. Some people, that's something you have to pay for to then go, to go to France or wherever it might be. But sometimes that's not being charged. We don't know what we're allowed to take, what we can do as far as paying tax, VAT on stuff. It's just really confusing. So there's bands like Conan who are constantly touring.
Love Conan.
We've played with them a couple of times. They're good lads, but it's obviously working for them. I know there are bands that are doing things probably less than legally. Not Conan, but other friends of mine in bands. It's just don't declare that you're playing shows over there and that sort of thing. But it's not something that's really come up for us. I do know that some bands were put off coming out. I mean, I used to go to there's a little hardcore venue in Sheffield where they get European bands in all the time. European, US would come through. You'd pay £5 to get in, and you get to see 3 or 4 bands, and that's not a thing anymore. And that sort of ties into the whole venues dying thing because it's less viable now. I mean, it's almost like free movement was a good thing. Guess fucking what? If you can't do that, and you're now going to be charged fees, and you've got to pay taxes and stuff on all the merch. And I've heard people having to take all the merch out of the van, like when they get into the Channel crossing, it's all been counted out, and then been hit with VAT charges, and it's isn't it funny that you take that away and you slowly but surely start to kill an industry. I mean, I think there was sort of a proposal to let musicians move freely, but I think it was shot down, unfortunately.
Of course. So before, was it just you just get in the van and drive across to France and you could just play wherever, or?
Yeah, it was the whole thing with the EU. The point was you could go and you could work there, you could study. It was you could literally just go over with your passport. Right. If you were an EU citizen, you could just go over. It was, do you know what I mean? It was that easy. So like we get Icelandic bands coming over, we get French, German, all sorts of stuff, taking advantage of that. And now, I mean, there's a bunch of bands that I'm into, smaller bands that I'm like, I'm never going to see them. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to see, some small band because where's the incentive anymore? If you think that you're going to end up getting stuck at customs for 6 hours while they root through all your gear and you then get slapped with a bill at the end of it, why the fuck would you do it? You're just playing your home country.
Right. Or somewhere else in the EU.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough, man. That's so stupid.
So yeah, I'm against Brexit, but just mainly that's the thing that always was going to stand out to me, and why I was really going to be against it is it's going to restrict movement, and it has done. It clearly has done.
We have friends that own labels in the UK and Europe, and they said how much it's hurt their business too, because of like what they have to pay in taxes and shipping and all that stuff now. Just sending vinyl across from UK to the mainland now just hemorrhages money for them they never used to.
Don't even go there. I looked at I was going to buy a record off the other day. It was from Relapse, and the shipping was more than the cost of the vinyl.
Yeah.
So I think it was like, oh, brilliant. I think, it was 16. I'm like, it's under $20. Oh, how much is the shipping? 40. What the fuck?
Wow, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that high. But yeah.
And then some prick at the post office is going to fucking bend the record, so what's the point in even trying to order it?
Right. But that's the main thing, like, because I know a lot on Discogs trying to find like stuff I can't buy new and stuff like that, and but I always filter just to the US because the shipping alone from Europe's not even worth me looking. Like, this could be the same price as the vinyl, and no, I'm not going to waste my money.
Unless you really want the album, or like
if you really want it, then yeah. But if it's just like casually looking at,
right.
See, I've done so. All our record stuff goes through our label. He deals with all the vinyl orders, but we tend to do our own merch. We tend to do our own T-shirts. And I've had messages from people saying the cost of the shipping is more than the actual T-shirt. And I'm like, yeah, I know, and it's shit, and it's shit. It's shit for us, and it's shit for you. And the problem is, you'll go into a post office here, and one week it might be £8 to post your T-shirt, and then the following week, because you put 2 more stickers in and the weight of the parcel's gone up, now guess what? It's 15. And it's so bizarre that it's so expensive for us. I have physically contacted fans before and gone, look, I managed to get you shipping cheaper than I thought I would. I'm going to refund you the difference.
That's really nice.
I'm not going to. Why would I want somebody being screwed over? But the problem is now it's just the costs for us are going up because it's even fuel's more expensive. If I've got to drive to a post office, you've got to even factor that in now. It's just it's a shit situation for everybody. But then, like you say, if you're now only going to look at US only stuff, you're missing out on a bunch of stuff. I'm missing out on US exclusive merch that I can't get, like that Hatebreed vinyl that's come out. The UK allocation for the Hatebreed vinyl for Perseverance was 500 units, and they went instantly. So I was like, oh shit! I'll look how much it's going to cost. Oh, it's going to be $75. I'm like, it's not worth it.
That's man.
Ridiculous.
And then that affects labels, and do you know what I mean? It just all trickles down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
if you told people like 10, 15 years ago that vinyl would be that much, they'd be like, bullshit. Like, just remember, like, people only really started collecting it again, like, almost like a decade ago. Before that, it was just like secondhand cheap stuff that no one cared about.
Oh, I've got a pile of, like you say, secondhand cheap stuff that was rescued out of skips, stuff that we picked up at car boot sales,
thrift stores.
I've got an original pressing of Rumours by Fleetwood Mac that I paid 50 pence for. I've got a copy of Abbey Road that was somebody had literally thrown away and was in a bin.
Yeah.
It's worth nothing at that point.
Mom, and she wrote her name on them. So, on the vinyl, right, and like where you have like all the songs in the center, right? She like wrote her name on it, and I'm just like, what the fuck? That's great. I can still listen to them and enjoy them if I want, but like I have a bunch of that Rumors you were just talking about. I'm like, I have that from my mom, and then I bought a new copy so I can just listen to that one. But like I do have one, and it's like it's got my mom's name on it. I got a Beatles White Album. My name.
This topic has
like, come on, Ma, you did this like however long ago when this album came out. Like, but really.
Yeah.
This topic's come up a lot on our show. Oh, sorry, John. Go ahead.
I was just saying, my mum's got a box of Beatles singles.
Yeah.
7 singles. And I've said, I'm like, if you leave me anything in the will, I want the box of records. She's got Motown and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, I want the records, please.
Yeah, that's cool. But I was just going to say, this topic's come up a lot in our show because, obviously, very music-related, but the vinyl industry has just been destroyed by like pop artists churning out stupid numbers of their album that no one buys. Like Adele, that double Adele vinyl that they made like 50,000 copies for or something, plugged up the vinyl industry for like a year, and then no one, they just sit on shelves.
Yeah. So when we were coming to do our previous album, New Almighty, when we were doing New Almighty, we were gonna do it on vinyl, but this was literally just sort of at the tail end of COVID. Yeah. So things are starting to come together. But the waiting time, for vinyl production then was 9 months. Yeah. Yep. So we're like, well, we're not going to fucking wait because of literally, like you say, it was Adele and ABBA.
Yeah, that's it. I remember that.
And they basically used up all the major pressing plants, and then, all right, well, the medium-sized plants now are taking on decent-sized bands, and then, the smaller plants are now in use, and then bands like us were like, well, guess what? You are at the bottom of the pile. You're waiting 9 months.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Which was gutting because I really wanted that album on vinyl. So I mean, to get Drowning Glory on vinyl, when that box was delivered here with the records in, oh man, it was amazing. It was emotional because it felt like it took a long time to get to that point.
Mm-hmm. Right,
like you say, all that shit with the pressing plants and COVID and all that bollocks, and then that's a thing that we've made.
Yeah. To see it tangibly there, it's definitely got to be awesome.
But physical sales are really, really strong, and so underground bands are routinely selling out of vinyl pressings,
and that's great.
Definitely.
It's brilliant.
And weirdly enough, cassettes as well, which have come back for some reason.
We sell a shitload of cassettes.
Yeah, people love them. They're super popular again.
You put it in your pocket. The thing is, if you go to a show and you want to buy a record, you've got to hang on to that through the whole show.
Yes.
You've got to not spill on it. You've got to not bend it. Or then you've got to quickly grab it at the end and then hope that they've not sold out.
Yep.
Whereas a tape, you just put a cassette tape in your pocket and then you can go and run around and do a circle pit.
I never thought of that.
If you break it. It's honestly, we sell more tapes than we do CDs.
Interesting. Wow. That's an unexpected trend. I think if you told people that again like 5 years ago, they'd be like, "What?"
Right. I would assume more like that CDs would be selling more, but I don't know.
See, we make our tapes look cool as well.
Yeah,
if you make it look cool, yeah. Tapes are fairly cheap to print, but we print the artwork onto the actual tape.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And do a little Cool J card on the inlay, and try and make it special.
Yeah.
Not
that band Wallowing, James. They made the different alien space
tape
and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That was very cool.
Yeah.
It was inspired by Alien. They had the Alien equipment.
Yeah, we're good friends with those guys, and they've really pushed.
Nice.
We played with them a bunch of times. But yeah, the
sick show to see. Wow, that would be
we played a show. One of our favourite places to play is a place called Fellfoot Wood, which is in the middle of nowhere in Cumbria. So it's in real rural countryside. And there's a guy there called Barry the Blackwood Baptist, and he puts on. Oh, the guy's nuts, but he's such a lovely guy. But he's a guy in his, I think, I'm going to say 70s. And he puts bands on over a weekend, and then he's got a pool where he baptises people, and he does poetry. But then he puts on sick death metal and sludge and black metal bands. So we played with, it was Wallowing, us, and a band called Goblin Smoker that I think you guys would probably appreciate.
Yeah, I love Goblin Smoker.
So it was us three, and we're all friendly. That was a fucking brilliant show. Everybody's on mushrooms. Everybody's pissed out their minds, and then our bass player fell asleep during Wallowing's set.
What?
Which I don't know how he did it. He just collapsed. It was great. But yeah, they've really pushed it because they're doing stuff with tapes. They're doing comics. They've done an action figure.
Yeah,
you've got to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah. Good
That's
stuff,
awesome.
Dude. Such good stuff.
No,
yeah.
the Wallowing came on the show as well, actually.
Be so much fun.
Have they?
Yeah, we talked to him a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When Earth
a few. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then I also got an early copy of the review of their comic book, the first one they did as well. But really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played with them a couple of times. The last time I played with them was us, Wallowing, and Conan.
Wow.
In a tiny room. It was brilliant.
That's awesome. I love that. Brendan, did you have any questions? If that's sort of the time, we're coming up to our time.
Yeah, let's see here. There's always a couple here. What's your favorite song to play live?
At the moment, it's between two at the moment. It's either Chapter and Hearse or As Cold as Blood. They're both on the new album. They're both on Drowning Glory.
Yeah, I love Chapter and Hearse. Like, the monologue, I don't know where it came from, but I'm hearing it, and I was like, not too long ago I was talking about like having like cuts into songs, and it hasn't been done very. It used to be in the very beginning, right? And then you had the band play after whatever quote was happening, but yours is in the middle of it, and it's really good, and it gets you all empowered to be like, let's fucking go, you know? Like, I love it.
Yeah, we use a sample live as well, so you get the full thing. But it's from a film called Network. It's a 1970s film.
Okay.
And I just remembered a couple of years ago hearing that sample and thinking it is relevant now as it is in the 70s because it's talking about austerity, depression. The Russians come up a couple of times in that speech, and it's all stuff that
inside your house and never leave it. And
that's it. It's stuff that 40 years later, it's like that's still relevant. Why is that still fucking relevant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be, but it is.
And then, like you say, it kicks into me screaming again after the sample, and all hell breaks loose. And there's the same with As Cold as Blood. The breakdown at the end of that, with the "No one's gonna fucking save you."
Yeah.
Literally, we wrote the whole song around the breakdown because I says, "I've got this idea," and it was originally going to be "No one's gonna come and save you," and I changed it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is fucking gold." We wrote the song around it.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, all of them are heavy. That's definitely sweet. Who inspired you to pick up a guitar and sing for the first time?
It was Brian May was the first inspiration for guitar when I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I saw Brian May and was like, yeah, I want to do that. And then it would have been... I didn't really pick up the guitar properly until I was 13 or 14. And it was a combination of James Hetfield and then Monkey and Head from Korn. That was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. But the vocal thing, I'd never done vocals until this band.
Really?
Ever. Yeah. So our first demo is my younger brother doing vocals. But he ended up getting
Stolen Logo.
Hey-Ho Stolen Logo, which was just literally we were just fucking about. It was something a bit that's totally different to anything else sort of aesthetically that we've done because it was just we didn't realise it was going to go anywhere at that point.
Okay, just fucking around having fun.
Yeah, I was like, I know we're writing the songs that we're writing are good, but yeah, I didn't see any of this happening. So he was doing vocals, and then he had a collapsed lung and pneumonia.
Jeez.
So he had to quit the band. He would have been the vocalist. I was just doing guitar. And I just went, fuck it, I'll do it. And the original plan for vocals was I was going to do sort of a Lane Staley thing. It was going to be clean. I was like, we'll just go like Alice in Chains. And then I just tried a harsh vocal. And it came out, and it was just an accident.
That's
I
awesome.
would have been fine with the Lane Staley thing as well because Lane Staley. I mean, I love Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. There's a song on the new album. There's a song. Which track is it? Hang on. Terminally Cursed. On the new album, there's the last. There's like a bridging section towards the end of the song where there's a clean vocal that I've just hidden, and I was just doing high pitched Lane Staley, as clean as I can vocals. Mm-hmm. But I was warming up singing "Man in the Box." Like in the vocal booth, I'm like, just give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm just going to do a couple of choruses of Man in the Box. Let's warm up a little bit, and then went in and did that.
Love it.
That's great. That's definitely awesome.
Brendan, are you got any more? You good for me to ask the final question?
I know it. I'm just curious myself. We were talking about it earlier, and so the song Noose Almighty, and you had talked about writing that song at Disney, and I just think that one of like the wildest, heaviest songs is written in a place that was like such a weird little, like, I don't know, it's Disneyland, the world, right? Like,
yeah,
I've been there with my family and friends, and like, what was eating you? Was it literally the Mickey Mouse bullshit?
So we've got to go a little bit dark here. So the day that we recorded, the day we were due to record Hey Ho Stone Logo, we were going to drive down to London and record that demo. My brother-in-law was killed in a car accident.
Oh
wow!
The morning we were going to go down. It's all right. So we didn't record. We eventually went like 2 months later and we recorded. So that demo is pretty emotional. But a lot of the writing for Flatgate Bastard Features, for Noose Almighty and for Drowning Glory stems from this stuff around that time. And then basically our house burnt down 6 months after he died. So we were homeless for a while. So a lot of that shit had built up. So we'd gone to Disney as like, we deserve a treat after all the shit that we've been through. Fuck it, we're going to Disney World, and then we went on a Disney cruise as part of that same holiday.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And the second day we were in America, so the second day we went to Disney was also my wife's birthday.
Nice.
And we were waiting to get on, like the free shuttle buses they do from hotels.
Yeah.
We were waiting for the shuttle bus to turn up. Yeah. We were on International Drive. The shuttle bus is turning up at 8 a.m. And we were watching TV, and the film Bruce Almighty was on.
Yep.
And me being me, always looking for a pun, went, Noose Almighty, lol. We got to Disney, and we're walking around Disney, and all I'd got in the head was the chorus lyric to All That Worship at the Altar of the Noose. Just popped into my head, and I'm walking around with my little boy, my wife's in front, we're walking through Disney, and these lyrics are coming together in my head. And as the lyrics are coming together, the riff is coming together. And it stayed with me. We got on the cruise the day after, and we went around the Caribbean, and this riff is still in my fucking head for a week. So there's pictures of me, like, with Donald Duck. There's me and my son and Donald Duck. We're doing selfies, and I've got this fucking riff that's just... I tend to write really well when I'm relaxed. So the last time, for this current album, I wrote a bunch of lyrics on a cruise with my wife. Because when I'm at my happiest, all the bleak shit is easier to channel into. I don't know why.
You just think about it instead of live it.
Yeah, it's like I'm happy now. I'm not currently going through it, and it's just a bit easier to sort of channel into. But we were walking around Disney, and I'd pretty much got the full song done by the time we landed back in England. I got home, and I just got some really basic recording software, and I recorded the demo. Yeah. And I took it to the band. We got a different bass player back then, but I took it and I went, listen to this, what do you think? And they were like, it's all right. I'm like, just trust me. Also, I think we should call the album this. And they were like, not sure. And when we recorded it, so I did all that session on my own, and we'd finished the song without the rest of the band being there.
Gotcha.
And they came in and we played it back, and I was literally in tears playing this thing back. And yeah, it was like, okay, it clicked.
Yeah.
And they got it. Yeah, it was. I wrote that song around the time of Flat Cat Bastard Features when we had our previous bass player.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, just trust me. It was like 2 years of me saying, honestly, just go with me. This is going to be amazing. But yeah, all I see is when I look back at holiday pictures, there's, like I said, is me with like characters, and there's my wife with the Mickey Mouse ears on, and there's every photo I'm smiling. I'm like, oh my god, I know exactly what I'm thinking.
Yep.
That's a great story. Great story.
Yeah, I'm. That's definitely a wild time in your life. It's definitely. I can relate to losing a brother. You know, it's definitely pretty wild, man. You know, something you don't expect, right? Especially being so young. Like, I don't know. I'm in my early 40s. You know what I mean? And like that. He was 80s when these things are happening, you know.
Yeah, he was 40. He was 40. And yeah, it's like it's closure. I mean, the new album is literally if you've got a physical copy of it, the new album is dedicated to him.
Awesome.
And the really fucked up thing is, of all the people that would probably really be pushing for me to do well with this, he's one of them. Mm-hmm. But the ironic thing is, I wouldn't be writing the lyrics and the riffs I'm writing if he was here. I don't think. Because a lot of the lyrics are inspired by him. I mean, As Cold as Blood on the new album is literally about the 2:30 in the morning knock on the door from the police. That's literally what that song's about. But it's all closure. Mm-hmm. Every time I'm screaming, every time I'm fucking putting a big pinch harmonica in or writing a big riff, it's all just... There we go, can tick that off. I don't have to be upset about that anymore.
That's beautiful, dude. Absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So, to close out the episode, I have a question I ask every guest. It's hypothetical, and I'm sorry if it puts you on the spot, but if you were stranded on a desert island, and all you had was a solar-powered Discman and 3 CDs to listen to on repeat until you got rescued, what would you want to have with you?
The first two's easy.
Okay.
It's going to be Blackwater Park by Opeth.
Okay.
And it's going to be Issues by Korn.
Nice. I have that on double vinyl. Underrated album.
Nice. Honestly, it's a fucking masterpiece. It is.
I agree fully.
Both of those are just infinitely listenable. If I'm in the car, I'm going to stick one of those two on as a sort of default if I can't think of what to listen to. The third one's tricky because I've got 2 metal albums, and I'm wanting to say Fragile by Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Possibly. But I also want to say Perseverance by Hatebreed. Because you'd probably be...
all the marks, right?
Yeah.
Like the sing-alongs, the heavy, the breakdown.
You'd be so pissed off from listening to Hatebreed that you would probably swim to say... So yeah, fuck it, we'll go Hatebreed. Let's keep the prog rock else. Yeah, we'll keep the prog rock.
In 1998, I was going to the Warped Tour, and it was in Massachusetts, and I didn't know Hatebreed at the time, and I think we were going to go see like Dropkick Murphys or somebody play, and we were walking past the stage where Hatebreed was playing, and I just stopped dead in my tracks, and I saw these fucking beefcake ass motherfuckers just like moshing hard as hell, and I was just like, God damn, this is like, I haven't heard anything quite like it, you know, at the time. Yeah. And so I was just like, fuck, I love this, you know, and then bought their 7-inch Under the Knife, and then got their album, dude, and then, yeah, it's wild. I fell off a little bit during the beginning of the early 2000s, but then, like, always come back to them, you know, like, Hatebreed's, like, they're one of the catalysts for me, you know, I
think everything up to including Supremacy is good. And it's when Sean Martin left, I think it went a little bit downhill for me. Because Sean was the fucking...
early 2000s, like...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, early, like... 2006-ish, you know, that kind of...
Yeah. Sean on guitar he's like a massive influence on me, just because of how scary that dude was. Because it was the first time I saw him, I was 17, and it was as part of the street teaming thing. They were like, here's your pre-release copy of Perseverance, but also here's a ticket to the Eastpak Resistance tour. And it was Biohazard, Hatebreed, Stamping Ground, Agnostic Front,
Oh, man.
Born from Pain, Dog Eat Dog, and I think it was Discipline or Death Threat. I can't remember. It was one of those two. And like you say, it was just big shirtless motherfuckers. I looked like Harry Potter back then. I was skinny and no tattoos and just this tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I saw a spin kick. It was the first time I saw big shirtless lads with Biohazard back piece tattoos just kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I could get used to this.
Me too. Yeah. I was just something about it. I was just like, fucking A, dude.
Although Jamie Jaster with long hair is not for me.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that.
Right.
There's a local venue that I guess they're doing like once a month. They're doing like Jasta doing stuff, and like they had some like I was at a band I've been trying to see forever called High Command. They're from Massachusetts. They were playing, and I'm just like, how did I miss this? Because I saw like the flyer on a Friday, and it was on a Thursday. But they do like this Metal Thursday thing, like kind of local to me. So I
That's
gotta
cool.
get out there and do it.
Well, Sean Martin's just rejoined 100 Demons, so I am excited. There's more 100 Demons music coming out, so
Yeah. Yep. It's true.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that kind of brings us to the end of the show, but last question, I guess, is if anyone wants to listen to your music, buy your albums, support the band, what's the best way to do that?
Oh, I've just lost you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
am I back?
broke up there for the.
Okay, I'll fill
Yeah,
that
yeah.
in post. Cool, I'll fix it in post. If anyone wants to support the band, buy your music, listen to your music, what's the best place to do that?
Bandcamp's always good, so swampcoffin.bandcamp.com or APF Records, who's the label who are on apfrecords.co.uk. Either of those, I mean, like I say, buy what you can. Bands fucking thrive off this stuff, and it is how we can afford to tour and how we can afford to put more merch out and do what we do.
And
Come to shows.
keep up to
Just come
date
to
with
shows, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah. Get out there.
And to keep up to date with socials, like what's the best place to follow you guys?
We're old people, so we still use Facebook. Facebook, Instagram. We don't use Twitter. I don't understand Threads, so we just stick with Facebook and Instagram.
Right on, right on.
Sorry, I think we hit the hour mark and it slowed the recording.
I think I lost you again then.
Yeah, it's it's because we clicked over an hour on the recording. It slows it down after that. I was just going to say, final thing is thank you so much for coming on the show, and it's been great to have you, and good luck with everything on the future releases. You guys are killing it.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Anytime. And for
Appreciate
anyone
it.
listening, come back next time. We will have more guests for you.